again, guys. I am feeling really motivated, so I thought I would just quick knock out another video while I have the motivation. Today I would also like to go through either my blush or my highlighter collection, maybe both. But I have a lot of stuff to get through, so I'll try to make it quick. If you are new here, please like and subscribe. I'm just a little baby YouTuber, so really the only way that I'm gonna know that I should keep filming is if people give me some feedback. Anyway, this is my big ass drawer full of blushes, highlighters, and bronzers. So today I'm gonna go through some of that. I'm not gonna swatch everything because I just would not have the time, but we will get through as much of it as we can. All right, okay, so I just did a quick count and I have about 40 different blushes here, give or take. Not including the Lunatic contour palette that I mentioned in my palette collection video. And I also didn't count like the individual pans in palettes as individual blushes. I just counted them all as one. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be decluttering anything today, but I will just start out, I think, with one of my favorites. And this is probably one of the most unique things I have in my collection. This is the Fairy Blush palette. And this is by It's Likely Makeup. They also have a clown blush palette, so if you are into kind of non-traditional blushes, this is really fun. Obviously you can use it as eyeshadow as well. I will say that I found that the purple is a little patchy, but I can make it work and kind of sheer it out to a really pretty lavender color. I've also used this green as kind of like around Halloween, almost as like a zombie-esque blush. And then the other two, you know, work pretty well, even in like a day-to-day look if you share them out. So I love the packaging on this. It is one of the favorite things that I have in my collection. Next. So I just kind of sorted things out a little bit to make them a little bit easier to work through. As far as non-traditional blushes go, I also have a couple more. This is Silence is Golden from NYX, and it is a satin finish, I would say, yellow blush. So not for everybody, but I really like it. I've used it before. It's really gorgeous. I almost used it today with my kind of hot Cheetos look. This one is from the Fenty highlighter collection. These are in the shades Mimosa Sunrise and Sangria Sunset. And they are, I mean, technically they're highlighters, but obviously for me, being fair-skinned, they are blushes. I really like the orange blush and the bright pink as well. They sheer out really pretty. They've got a gorgeous satin finish to them. So highly recommend that if you like colorful things. Next, I'll go over my kind of palettes. This is from the Wet n Wild My Melody and Kuromi collection. And the packaging on this is so freaking cute. I was so stoked when I found this. I know it was kind of hard to find. I actually ended up ordering it online on their website when they restocked it. Really pretty. The only complaint that I have about this one is I don't feel like that this one works very well. It might be better suited for dark skin, obviously. I am not dark skin, but I found that it was kind of patchy, so I feel like even on a darker skin tone it might not work as well. But the rest of the shades I like. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this one smells very strongly. So if you are sensitive to scents, I would not recommend it. It kind of has like an artificial strawberry scent to it. Usually scents don't bother me, but this one is definitely strong enough that I could smell it when I opened up my blush drawer. Next, this is from Makeup Revolution, and it is the Vintage Lace Intense Dual Pigment Blusher. So this is what she looks like. This is for fans of shimmer, definitely. I'll be honest, I haven't broken through the fully through the top layer. So I believe that the kind of the gold that you're seeing here is probably an overspray, but I think that there is shimmer that runs through the colors as well. So the overspray on this, it doesn't bother me too much. I know, I totally understand why people don't like that, but that particular one does not bother me. Next is the Natasha Denona Love Glow palette. This is some of the favorite packaging out of everything that I own. It is so beautiful. And the inside is gorgeous as well. So these two tops are creams, and then these two bottom shades. I really like this diamond powder, really gorgeous. I also really like this cream blush. I find it really easy to sheer out. It's a very natural looking, kind of like pinky flush. I really like them. My only complaint with this one, I would say that the glow powder on the bottom does not perform as well as I would want from a high-end product like that, but there she is. And then we have another Natasha Denona. This is their first blush palette. Their first of this size anyway. They did have some larger ones, but this is the Bloom palette. And I really like the cream shade on this one too. Even though it is dark, it does look really pretty on fair skin. I do find that it is possible to make it work, and I do really like it. You're gonna find as I continue to go through these, I really enjoy those like peachy gold shades. I find them really flattering on me, so. And then I guess kind of the last of the multi ones would be just this little e.l.f. This little e.l.f. duo. They had a bunch of other colored shades. This is the only shade that I found was unique enough to purchase it. And then actually I lied. So these are all duos as well. These are from the Balm, and I actually haven't heard anybody talk about these, but I freaking love them. They are some of my favorite blushes, and it may just be because of their finishes. They are very, very shimmery. This is absolutely beautiful. This is the shade Dusk. Oh my gosh. Just so pretty. I love it. And then this is the shade Dawn. This is more of a kind of like a rosy bronze almost. So that shade I don't really use much. It's just not really my typical cup of tea. But then we also have this duo, which is called Beachgoer. This one, again, it's gonna have kind of that glow to it. And then this is the shade Low Tide, which is a really pretty kind of a lilac lavender blush. I really like this, especially over top of that purple shade in the that Fairy Blush palette. So you can see on this one just how sparkly and reflective these are. And then this one is just kind of like a bubblegummy pink. This one doesn't have the same kind of like glitter quality, but it definitely does have a glow to it. And then this one was called Game Day. All right, so next up we have, we'll do another Makeup Revolution one. This one I think is technically, again, a highlighter, but I use it as a blush just given my skin tone. And it is a light pinky peach with a champagne reflect to it. I got a couple more from NYX. These are kind of some darker ones. This is the shade Totally Chill. You can kind of see it's got kind of, it's definitely like a brownie, kind of a brownie nude with a little bit of a rusty tone to it. And then we have the shade Fig, which Just another darker, vampy, kind of a plummy tone to it. This has a really pretty finish. I like it if I'm doing something a little bit more dramatic. And then next I will go over my Milani blushes. So Milani has I would say honestly, my favorite blush formula, especially for being drugstore. They're awesome. The one that I use by far the most is the shade Romantic Rose, which is just like a really pretty dusty mauve rose color. It's a bit of a cool tone. So definitely if you're a cool tone girl, this is beautiful. All of the writing has worn off of it, and you can definitely see like this started out as a rose and it is like super flattened out compared to the other ones that I have. I would definitely repurchase that in a heartbeat. The second most used one from these is the shade Tea Rose, which is another really pretty neutral rosy tone. This one definitely has more warmth to it. So this one is just kind of really pretty to give a little bit of color to your cheeks. And then this one is a little bit newer. This is Wild Rose. And this one definitely has more of a warmth to it even than that one. I would say that this one almost gives a little bit of a, you know, it looks very natural, like you've been in the sun. So I would say that it looks like you've been spending time in the sun. This one is really unique compared to the other ones because it's the only one that has this shine or this glow to it. So this is the shade Blossom Time Rose, and I would say finish wise, this is probably my favorite one. It kind of almost reminds me of kind of the effect that the Hourglass Beauty ambient lighting powders or their blushes have. Just a very pretty kind of lit from within glow that you hear everybody talk about. So next we have a bunch of their baked blushes. I love this formula. They're my favorite. My only complaint with these is how chunky they are, but I feel like everybody knows that. This again is like one of my most used blushes. They are all domed since they are baked products, but this one you can see is like flat, and this is the shade Luminoso. I have been told that the shade has kind of been changed, so it might look a little bit different than the one that I have. I can't confirm that, but either way, I think even if they did change it, I'm sure it's still awesome because I love these. I love them so much. And then we have the shade Dolce Pink. Super pretty. Definitely, this is a shimmer one, but it's very finely milled shimmer, so it's definitely not chunky at all. Really pretty. Then we have the shade Bella Bellini. This one, it's kind of similar, but the reflect on it is definitely more champagne, whereas the other one is more silver. So this is what they look like next to each other. So you can see that this one is definitely more kind of bubblegummy pink. This is a little bit lighter. This one's definitely more shimmery. They're both shimmery, but this one definitely has like little flecks of glitter through it, whereas this one doesn't. It also looks a little weird right here because, I don't know, for some reason I thought it was a good idea to wet my brush with Fix Plus and try to use that as an eyeshadow. It did not work. Then we have Rose d'Oro, which is more of a coppery peachy tone, almost kind of bronzery. And then for my favorite neutral out of this is newer to me, so I haven't used it as much as the other ones just because I haven't had it as long, but I guarantee it's gonna be just as popular as the powder blushes that I have from them that I use all the time, just because it has a similar tone to it. It's very cool toned. Very, well, kind of neutrally even, but just kind of has a similar quality to the Blossom Time Rose. So definitely different finishes with this one being matte, but kind of similar tone qualities. And then this one, it's similar to that one, but it has more of a kind of a ruddy undertone to it. So this one definitely looks like you've had just like the smallest bit of sunburn, but in the best way. Like that, I don't know if that sounds flattering or not, but it's very, very flattering, even on me. And I have a very fair skin tone that sometimes can look a little pink if I'm careful, or if I'm not careful and get too much time in the sun. So these two are from Milani's latest collection, where they released all of their kind of fruit themed things. And they are so pretty. This one is called Peach of Me, and it has like a really pretty kind of like a metallic ivory running through it, but it is definitely more pigmented and orangey than the other ones. So these also have the different colored packaging. They're really cute. And then this one, again, this one has some gold running through it, and this is the shade Cherry on Top. All right, so we are getting towards the end here, so I will quick grab my cream blushes. So I recently started getting into cream blushes, so I haven't tested these out quite as thoroughly yet, just because, you know, I have to be in a pretty specific mood to use a cream product. This is the brand, or these, few of these are going to be Milani again. This is the shade Nude Kiss. I have noticed that this one does appear to be out of stock on a lot of places, so that one is going to be harder to locate, most likely. This is the shade Peach. You're a Peach. And I think this one might have been part of that same collection as those other two fruit-themed ones. Same with this one. This one is called I Cherish You. It's just kind of a bright pinky red. And then as far as cream blushes, I have this little Milk Makeup stick called Work. This one came in I think a gift set. And this is what that one looks like. Obviously this, you know, you'd sheer it out on top of like a dewy foundation, or, you know, if you were doing more of a natural look. So I don't use the stick one as often, but it is a good little size. I feel like with cream blushes, you don't need very much, and that it's gonna be really hard to like go through a whole thing. I just have one Glossier Cloud Paint. This is in the shade Dusk. And this one, I will admit, I was hoping more for a kind of a lighter nude color than it actually is. I will say that this one is kind of more like bronzy orangey than I wanted it to be. I have to be really careful. Sometimes bronzery colors can look really orange, but in an unintentional way. So this one, I don't know. I really like the formula on it. I would definitely get use out of other colors, but I do find that this one, I mean, it kind of looks like I'm wearing the wrong color foundation if I'm not too careful. And then lastly, for cream products, is one from Rituel de Fille. And this is kind of an up and coming new brand, and I love them. I have some highlighters from them as well. This is my only out of their kind of their cream pigments that I have that is more of a blush color. And this is the shade Lust, which is kind of like a dark, kind of a plummy tone, but I really like it a lot. The only other thing that I have left, I do have this little from the Balm as well, if I can get it open. This is the Alternative Rock blush. Honestly, somebody that I know just gave this to me out of their Ipsy Ipsy bag that they weren't gonna use. So I'll probably pass this one along to somebody else just because it's small and I really don't get use out of it at all, just with it being super small. I do like mini products for travel, but this particular one I just don't see myself using. So that was it. That is all of my blushes. Okay, so turns out I lied. I actually do have some other blushes that I forgot to mention. So I have all my NARS blushes. I don't have very many. They are not cruelty-free, so just heads up. They used to be cruelty-free, but they are no longer. And then I have one little itty-bitty Laura Mercier blush. This came as a gift with purchase from an Ulta order that I made recently. This one I do see myself keeping, even though it is teeny tiny. It is just a very good neutral color, so I do see myself getting a lot of use out of. So this is the shade Unlawful, and I have actually used this one quite a bit. It's a very unique shade to my collection. It's kind of like a nudie brown color that also has silver little pinpoint glitters in it. Next is the shade Sin. This one I find a little bit harder to work with, but it is a very unique shade. It is a plum tone that has a little bit of kind of, it's a little bit of a metallic sheen to it. Then I have NARS Orgasm. Everybody knows this one. This one is disgusting. Honestly, I should trash it because it's old. It has hard pan. I've already scratched the top layer off of it. I think I've been kind of honestly holding on to it just because I know it's such a staple color that I like having it on hand to compare other colors to. And then this is the shade Angelica, which is super cute. I really love this shade a lot. It's just a very cool tone, cotton candy pink with silver glitter. All right, so that is actually it. I swear we're all done here. Like and subscribe. I am a baby YouTuber. Every little bit helps. All right, guys, bye.